Good evening, I'm Cherise Halsall, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. Is the medical system near to being overwhelmed with rising COVID cases? We'll have the latest numbers. Plus, a BDF soldier dies of COVID. Her sister tells us how sudden death came for the mother of 7. And the prison goes on total lockdown to contain the spread of COVID-19. No one in or out, including the guards. We'll talk to the CEO. Plus, plenty of politics tonight. We'll show you how COVID has changed politics in 2020. Also, girls, not brides. Belize joins the effort to abolish childhood marriages and early unions. These stories and much more are ahead on 7 News, so please stay tuned.
Belize, almost 400,000 individual beings, different faces, different cultures, different beliefs. But what keeps us together? It's the moments, it's the memories, it's our connection that we share. We at DigiBelieve, a fiber-based connection is priceless. You can enjoy an incredible fiber connection to your home, plus a free mobile postpaid plan, and a free home phone with free calls. With DigiNet, Belizeans enjoy the most advanced fiber connection to their home. Why choose DigiNet? DigiNet is the ultimate internet experience. So sign up today and step into the future with DigiNet.
There are different kinds of people. Some who come from humble beginnings, struggle, and know the value of hard work to accomplish goals. Others are brought up privileged with a recognizable name without any worry of a struggle. There are those who have strong convictions to do the right thing even when it may be unpopular. Others do what is politically expedient. Patrick Faber is the kind of leader who does what is right for the Belizean people. From his early days as a UDP activist, he has stood up for what is right. He has proven his resilience. He will not run at the first sign of trouble or difficult times. Patrick is a true leader. For real leadership, we are staying with the UDP.
If you have been directly exposed to the new coronavirus or have a history of travel in infected populated areas, it is recommended that you self-isolate. Identify a room to be used to self-isolate and limit contact with healthy persons. Keep away from older persons and persons who have medical conditions that affects their immune system. Monitor for any cold or flu-like symptom for up to 21 days and wash hands frequently with soap and water. If you become seriously ill, call your healthcare provider or 0800-664-2273 for guidance. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
In partnership with the British High Commission.
Trimming the hedges and overgrown trees. Packing food supplies. Ensuring that you have medical supplies and important documents are all part of your hurricane preparations. But what about your home insurance? An insurance policy with RFNG Insurance gives you the confidence that your home and possessions are protected when a natural disaster strikes. Include RFNG in your hurricane plans and join the thousands of Belizeans who have learned why it pays to get it right. RFNG Insurance is a Roten company.
I don't like every working class woman or working class man in this country. One of my big dreams is to own my only house. Something neat, something safe, something affordable, Don't know that I may need one mansion. But my goodness, no give me no plywood Plycent box. 12 years of Barrow, Faber, Finnegan, and Boots. And I right at the baffle. Still the rent. Just that the rent gone higher. But I not give up on my dream. I still grind hard every day. My youths have to experience life in our bungalow thing. Wait yard. And not only the special UDPs to feel good in their house. My day they come though. For we day they come. Everybody for win.
The world as we know it has changed. Now, more than ever, local businesses need our support. Whether they're taking online orders, setting appointments, or taking reservations, our business customers depend on us for the best in business solutions, high-quality products, and reliable services to keep them connected to their customers, to keep their doors open. Digi is ready for this change, and we're committed to doing what it takes to ensure that businesses can remain profitable during this time. Digi is here, and you don't have to do this alone. Together, let's embrace the new and unlock all the waiting possibilities.
Enjoy fantastic savings all October long with NextGen service. Sign up for our student internet program and save 10% off internet for the entire year. NextGen gives you affordable internet plans so you can work and study conveniently and efficiently. Having difficulty staying connected with the other guys? This October, reconnect your NextGen cable or internet service for free. Offer ends October 31st. Visit the branch office near you today or contact us at 880-4200. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
COVID-19 cases are surging in Belize and Orange Walk districts, and tonight the KHMH ICU is above capacity. The Director of Health Services has confirmed that COVID patients are using 9 beds at the KHMH, while the ICU unit only has 8 beds. So we assume the KHMH has once again activated its surge plan. 3 patients are currently on ventilators. At the Northern Regional Hospital, 9 patients now hospitalized in the COVID unit, even though some of them are pending results. The message from all that is that the system is very near being overwhelmed. In last night's public information posting, the Director of Health Services warned, quote, "The numbers can only increase given the increasing numbers being reported daily." The numbers released last night showed 67 new positives out of 260 tests, a 26 positivity rate, and the hotspots are Orange Walk and now the Belize district. The largest numbers again come from the Orange Walk district, where 38 cases were identified, 21 from the town, 4 from August Pine Ridge, 1 from Carmelita Village, 1 from Indian Church, 3 from San Jose Palmar, 1 from Yo Creek, 1 from San Luis, 4 from Trial Farm, 1 from San Jose, and 1 from Shaibe, Corzal. In the Belize district, 20 new cases were identified yesterday. 6 are from Belize City, 8 are from the Colby Foundation, Belize Central Prison, and 1 each from Lord's Bank, San Pedro, Orange Walk Town, Tea Kettle Village, Cayo, San Felipe, Orange Walk, and Shaibe, Corzal. There is also 1 case from Mahogany Heights in the Cayo district, 4 from the Corozal district, broken down into 3 from Concepcion Village and 1 from Cristo Rey Village. The Ministry of Health says areas of concern are the ongoing spike in Orange Walk, the increasing number of positive patients in Belize City, the outbreak at the Belize Central Prison, and reports that there may be positive cases within the Belize Coast Guard. They expect to have further details about the Coast Guard matter over the weekend. And while we wait on the most updated numbers from today's testing, we can confirm that it will include 1 more death. It occurred at 6 a.m. this morning. The victim is 49-year-old Sylvia Foreman, a BDF soldier from Mahogany Heights. The mother of 6 who had multiple pre-existing conditions, had been feeling ill from last week. But when she went to the clinic, her sister says they sent her home, saying she just had a regular flu. She had to be hospitalized at the Western Regional on Monday, and this morning she died quite suddenly from COVID-19. This evening, we spoke via phone to her sister, Melissa Major, who told us that it has been all so unexpected.
I saw your sister posted last week that she wasn't feeling well. She was hospitalized Monday and went downhill so quickly. What happened?
I really actually don't know what happened because I talk to my sister every day, sir, and I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know. I really actually can't tell you exactly what happened. All I know that yesterday when I called, they said first they said that Monday they take a COVID test. She's been treated as a COVID patient. They said the test never good or something like that. They had to redo the test. They redo the test. We were waiting on a result. Yesterday when I called, they said that the blood pressure me kind of high. The pressure, sugar me kind of high, and the blood pressure me low.
Okay.
After that again, I called back after 8 last night. They made the same thing. Everything else me good, and just me wait till the test come in to see if it's positive or negative. That's all. Until this morning when I will get the call that she passed away after 6.
No, did she have pre-existing conditions that you all know of?
She was a diabetic patient, she was a hypertensive patient, and she had asthma. She went already to the clinic. Last week, Saturday, they gave her a doctor paper. They sent her home that it was just a common flu. So they sent her back home, and then after that, she gone back again.
So she may have infected members of her family?
Yes, I have already given those information to the hospital, and they will be doing contact tracing.
Do you guys have any idea how she contracted this? Did she contract it at work, in the community?
She had COVID until she had already passed away. The test came in back after she passed away. When we got up this morning, then we found out that she was COVID positive.
Due to the fact that she died from COVID, Foreman has to be buried tomorrow. She was the mother of 6 and was raising 1 grandchild. She was a 28-year veteran of the BDF. As we told you yesterday, the BDF is seeing a major spike in cases with 65 confirmed positive cases, 39 alone from the military installation in Orange Walk. In total, 142 soldiers are quarantined or in self-isolation at home. And while the BDF is struggling to manage their COVID caseload, so is the prison. Tonight, 5 more inmates at the Belize Central Prison have been confirmed COVID positive. This brings the total to 13 prisoners and 6 guards confirmed with COVID. And before the latest 5 tests came back positive, the prison was today placed on a 21-day full lockdown. Now, prisons are already sort of on lockdown all the time. So what does a full lockdown mean? Well, it starts on Tuesday, October 13, 2020, and absolutely no visits, cash deposits for inmates, nor business transactions with customers of the prison will be conducted. Also, attorneys are encouraged not to visit their clients during this period. However, any such visit will be coordinated between the prison and the judiciary. Plus, and this is not in the release, the prison is asking 60 officers to volunteer to stay quarantined at the jail for the 21 days. This evening, the prison CEO told us via phone that it's a crazy idea, but they have to try something drastic to keep COVID from spreading like wildfire inside the prison walls.
In prison, social distancing is impossible. I don't even want to use the word next to impossible. It is impossible. And, we don't want that thing to start spreading like a wild bushfire in this place. So I thought the most prudent thing to do was to put the prison on full lockdown, more specifically so that we could give the ones that are infected time to heal. And we want to also prevent the importation of more cases into the prison. and like I said in my press release, mitigate the spread.
Now, we know that prison guards, as we have discussed, are in and out. They have to go home and they go back into the community, and many of those communities have infections, and then they can bring it back into the prison. There is no easy workaround for this. What is the solution, if any?
Yes, we're very mindful of that, and it might sound crazy what we're doing, but we just want to give it a try and then see what effect that lockdown has on the virus. And nothing beats a trial but a failure. So we need to try this. And I know after 21 days, the prison staff will get to go back out, because even that we're trying to do with this 21 days. We're trying to get a set number of prison staff to remain on the camp or on the prison, and they don't really have to go out there and mingle to bring back in the virus.
We have heard from inside the prison, a prisoner is claiming that they didn't receive masks or start receiving masks until October the 3rd.
As it relates to the face masks, the prisoners weren't issued face masks simply because, remember, we had kept the virus out of the prison successfully right into September, almost the end of September. We became aware of our first officer being infected on the 28th of September.
However, should you all have preemptively, as this first guard had a positive test, should you all have preemptively started to distribute masks around the prison population?
I don't know. I don't know that would have been necessary. Like I say, remember initially we were in preventive mode, and when you try to prevent something, you try to put systems in place that would literally keep it out. I think the biggest push right now is to try and mitigate the spread, since we already have it in the prison. But I am very optimistic that even if we have additional cases, it would not be an amount that we cannot control. And that is why I decided to just lock down the prison.
Presently, all the COVID-positive prisoners are asymptomatic. The 5 most recent cases confirmed this evening were from a group of 90 tests, not a very high positivity rate. And we take a break now. When we come back, we'll show you how COVID is and will radically change political interactions in this election season.
We all know the importance of running water and proper drainage in your home. That's why we rely on a fully functional plumbing system. At Benny's, we have all the plumbing supplies and accessories you need. Our pipes, fittings, valves, and adapters are made from durable quality materials. Remember to wash your hands with clean running water from your faucet. We have kitchen and bathroom faucets in various styles and finishes. Whether for installation or maintenance, make sure to use recommended PVC cleaner, solvent, and Teflon tape to fix or prevent leaks. We also have the tools to get the job done. For all your residential, commercial, or industrial plumbing needs, shop at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Ladies and gentlemen, Belizeans all, with highest confidence, with surest conviction, I now cede the mantle of the United Democratic Party leadership to the Honorable Patrick Farber, the Lion of Collet, the greatest Minister of Education this country has ever seen, and the new political champion of all the people of Belize. He is a veritable Daniel come to judgment, and with him, the welfare of the UDP and Belize is in the best of hands. I sincerely congratulate him, wish him a long leadership tenure, and thank him for the assurance comfort and faith that his demonstrated qualities and phenomenal capacity bring to all of us in this great united Democratic Party. Long live Patrick Farber, long live the UDP, and long live Belize.
During stressful times, what children need most is you, a safe, secure relationship. The actions you take will greatly affect how they cope with the stress of the outbreak. Here are tips you can follow to help reassure children. Stay calm and be kind. It's understandable we will experience frustration and anxiety. However, discuss your own questions and worries about COVID-19 when your child is not around, and resist the urge to outwardly show frustration in the presence of children. Lastly, limit your child's exposure to media about COVID-19. Don't allow rumors to dominate your conversations. Focus on up-to-date scientific information from official sources such as the Ministry of Health's Facebook page or the World Health Organization, WHO. Keep daily routines as consistent as possible for your child. A familiar structure will reassure and help prevent anxiety. For more information, visit our website.
Patrick Farber wants to be the Prime Minister of Belize. Election will be in a matter of days. So what does he do right before election? He messages the president of the BNTU, Elena Smith, and calls her a lowlife and an idiot. Smith is the president of the most respected union in Belize, and Farber thinks it is okay to attack her, to bully her, and insult her. Who is the real lowlife, Patrick? Who is the real idiot? The truth is, Farber is a typical UDP. This is how the UDP operates. Same old faces, same old behavior, same old low-life UDP. Reject the arrogance, incompetence, disrespect, and greed. Reject Farber, the failure, and the UDP. Belize. Almost 400,000 individual beings. Different faces, different cultures, different beliefs. But what keeps us together? It's the moments. It's the memories. It's our connection that we share. We at DigiBelieve, a fiber-based connection is priceless. You can enjoy an incredible fiber connection to your home, plus a free mobile postpaid plan, and a free home phone with free calls. With DigiNet, Belizeans enjoy the most advanced fiber connection to their home. Why choose DigiNet? DigiNet is the ultimate internet experience. So sign up today and step into the future with DigiNet.
There are different kinds of people. Some who come from humble beginnings, struggle, and know the value of hard work to accomplish goals. Others are brought up privileged with a recognizable name without any worry of a struggle. There are those who have strong convictions to do the right thing even when it may be unpopular. Others do what is politically expedient. Patrick Farber is the kind of leader who does what is right for the Belizean people. From his early days as a UDP activist, he has stood up for what is right. He has proven his resilience. He will not run at the first sign of trouble or difficult times. Patrick is a true leader. For real leadership, we are staying with the UDP.
A Punta Gorda police officer had to move quickly to save his vehicle after someone set it on fire. Someone threw a Molotov cocktail under Sergeant Joel Greenidge's vehicle on Wednesday night, but luckily, he was able to kick it away before it could completely torch the vehicle. The Commissioner of Police told us more yesterday.
Sometime around 10 p.m. last night, Sergeant Greenidge had his vehicle parked in front of his residence in Punta Gorda town. And someone went and doused it with gasoline and set it on fire. He was able to quickly react and extinguish the fire so that the vehicle sustained minimal damages.
Do you know if this was motivated by his work as a police officer?
Well, we think so, yes, and we have an individual in custody who we believe is responsible.
Police are reviewing surveillance video from a nearby gas station showing a suspect buying gas in the same type of bottle used to torch the SUV. The government of Belize has provided an update on Phase 2 of the COVID-19 Unemployment Relief Program. As of yesterday, 66,859 applications were received, and 42,575 applicants have been approved. Payment for those successful applicants has been sent to the National Bank of Belize. Out of the approved applicants, 23,818 were people laid off work, and 18,757 were self-employed. As of yesterday, 14,862 applications have been placed on a list of exclusions for a variety of reasons, including if they are already boost recipients, if they receive government or social security pension, if they applied as long-term unemployed, which was only available during Phase 1, or if they are below the age of 18, among others. There are a total of 1,817 payments which have been rejected by financial institutions because of errors with the applicant's account information. We're just over a month away from a general election, but all the basic ground rules for politics as usual have been rewritten by COVID-19. That will be most visible on Wednesday, the 21st of October, for Nomination Day. That's when political parties usually get to flex their mass party muscle and give a preview of the kind of support they have. But not this year. Today, I went into the archive to look at what used to be and what will be this year. Nomination Day. It's a political carnival. Huge crowds, loud music, drunken revelry, and dancing in the street. Imperious kings and commanding queens. Everything you'd expect from a carnival, but awash in red and blue, with all the combustion and chaos of any mass party event. It's a show that we've been covering for many years, especially in the city, where we have followed political parties making their way to the C.B. Hyde building, thronged by supporters, each party eager to show mass party muscle and street dominance. But this year, thanks to COVID, there will be none of that. Each of the 31 constituencies will be nominated at a different public building to avoid large social gatherings. Fort George will be nominated at Holy Redeemer School. Pickstock will be nominated at St. Luke Methodist School. Caribbean Shores will be nominated at Edward P. York High School. Freetown will be nominated at All Saints Primary School. Albert will be nominated at ACC or the Anglican Cathedral College. Port Loyola at the Muslim Community Primary School. Mesopotamia at Grace Primary School. Collet at Gwen Lizarraga High School. Lake Independence at the St. Martin's de Porres RC School. Queen Square at the St. John's Anglican Primary School. Belize Rural North at the Pancota Primary School, Sandhill Village. Belize Rural South at the San Pedro Town Council. Belize Rural Central at the Our Lady of the Way RC School, Ladyville Village. Corozal North at Corozal Community College, San Andres Village. Corozal Southeast at San Joaquin RC School, San Joaquin Village. Corozal Bay at Corozal Civic Center. Corozal Southwest at the Libertad Methodist School, Libertad Village, Corozal District. Orange Walk North at the Orange Walk Magistrates Court. Orange Walk East at the Orange Walk District Education Center. Orange Walk South at the Banquitas House of Culture. Orange Walk Central at the La Immaculada RC School Auditorium.
Cayo North at the San Ignacio Magistrates Court, Cayo Northeast at the Sacred Heart College Auditorium, Cayo West at the Benque Viejo Town Board, Cayo Central at the Santa Elena RC Primary School, Cayo South at the Our Lady of Fatima RC School, Roaring Creek Village, Belmopan at the Belmopan Civic Center, Dangriga at the Dangriga Town Council, Stan Creek West at the IT Vet Building in Hope Creek, Toledo West at the Julian Cho Technical High School, and Toledo East at the Punta Gorda Magistrates Court. And at all those 31 public buildings, there will be no crowds allowed.
It cannot be business as usual. We know that when nomination, we always have this large groups, each political party showing their political might, going to the nomination center. Well, this year they will not be able to do that. The police and the Elections and Boundaries Commission will be working together to see how we can put in place the protocol that we would like to see the political parties follow on nomination day as well as on election day.
Each candidate that is nominated must pay a deposit of $200 and be nominated by 6 persons. Only candidates who get 10% of the vote or more can get a refund of their deposit. Many third-party and independent candidates will not meet that threshold. But for the UDP and the PUP, that 10% vote share is virtually automatic. The UDP hopes that it can get 50% or more in 16 seats or more. And moving towards that, last night, the party launched its general election campaign in a slickly produced 3-hour virtual rally, where Dean Barrow handed over the leadership to Patrick Faber. Jules Vasquez has the recap.
In 2015, this was how the UDP launched its general election campaign for the Belize district, with a huge rally in front of its headquarters. There were the usual speeches and wild boasts, uproarious ovation from the crowd, and all the political bells and whistles. It's standard fare for the game, but fast forward to 2020 and this is how they did it. All virtual. COVID forced the UDP to rethink the word rally and reduce it to a virtual event, while adding flow, flash, and finesse, a sort of addition by subtraction. But lest the seriousness of this historical moment be lost in the virtual victory lap, the outgoing party leader opened up by setting the tone.
I wonder if I could just take a moment to offer condolences to all that have died in consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic that we are still struggling to overcome.
Heavy times indeed, and from the somber to the bittersweet, Barrow made a quick and agreeable exit after 20 years in the leader's chair.
With highest confidence, with surest conviction, I now cede the mantle of the United Democratic Party leadership to the Honorable Patrick Faber, the Lion of Collet, the greatest Minister of Education this country has ever seen, and the new political champion of all the people of Belize.
And with an elbow bump rather than a handshake to mark the handover, Faber was no longer leader-elect. Finally, leader of the party he has dreamed of heading since childhood. He took a seat with his second in charge, Hugo Putt, and took in the show, a UDP victory tour, all their greatest hits, cataloging their works all over the country, plus in-house entertainment, flag waving from divisional offices, and party leader Faber ended on an up note.
I humbly accept the honor of serving you, our loyal members, and our great nation as we roll on to victory on November 11th.
Now, whether he will rule for an era or just a season will be a history that is only beginning to unfold.
And from the UDP virtual rally, we turn now to the PUP's virtual launch of its governance plan for addressing crime and violence and citizen security. It's one of the most pressing social issues, what social scientists call a wicked problem, defined as a problem whose social complexity means that it has no determinable stopping point. But the PUP say that they can make a meaningful difference, and in a virtual presentation that lasted almost 2 hours, the party pitched platitudes and panaceas. Daniel Ortiz has the story.
Crime and violence remain one of those bedeviling problems that government administrations from the two mass parties have struggled to meaningfully address. But the PUP thinks that it has come up with a suite of reform plans that should decrease the gun violence and bloodshed in the streets of Belize. This part of their election manifesto is called the Safer Society and Justice Policy.
We deserve to feel safe again. We deserve to be sure that criminals will be punished while law-abiding citizens will be free to enjoy our Belize without fear.
The overarching goal of a People's United Party government for safety and delivering justice is to restore trust and confidence in the justice system and to improve citizen security so that people can feel safe, enjoy their communities, stay healthy, and care for their environment.
The party acknowledges that crime and violence are only symptoms of a more serious social decay taking place in the country.
When one looks at the stats, we don't have a teenage pregnancy problem and we don't have a street gang problem. I will even suggest that we don't have a drug and alcohol problem, nor do we have a crime problem. Rather, these are only the symptoms that we are experiencing. And the real problem is broken homes that result in broken lives. You cannot fight crime without first fighting poverty. That is the issue in this country. We have a serious case of poverty, and education is, of course, the key to get out of poverty and, of course, creating opportunities for young people.
And while they have their sales pitch for the never-ending fight against poverty, their proposed plans to address crime includes improvements and technological upgrades for the police department, performance and efficiency upgrades for the justice system, and the empowerment of citizens to take ownership of their safety.
Next PUP government pledges to double the budget of the judiciary. We will ensure that our judges are returned their independence, unshackled from the political bosses, with transparent appointments of qualified and experienced judges and magistrates. We have mapped out a retooling exercise to modernize the rules of the courts to maximize efficiency and access to justice. It is our commitment that Belizeans must get sure and faster justice. The establishment of a night court to deal with minor offenses, traffic violations, and civil suits under $1,000. We pledge to recharge and reboot our police department, dramatically increasing its ranks to 4,000 officers. The recruitment will have as its aim the restoration of confidence in the department through depoliticized systems grounded on adequate training, merit-based promotions, and police reform. The largesse of next-generation technology in policing will be unlocked, including the use of face recognition camera systems, drone technology, biometrics, DNA advancements, and fully integrated computer systems to ensure the connectivity of police intelligence.
Our PUP government will reform and incentivize police recruiting and training, improve the effectiveness of the prosecution of crimes, and introduce the Citizens Report Card. So what should Belizeans expect from us? They can expect that we will reform the police department, improve and enhance the community policing program, establish a meaningful committee to deal with citizens' concerns, invest in a judicial complex as a part of our plan to ensure that citizens receive timely, efficient, and effective adjudication.
One viewer of the PUP's Facebook live stream, who could have been a rival political operative engaged in real-time mischief, was very doubtful of the PUP's proposals. But their leaders are confident that their plans will bring results.
We will turn things around when we make the lives of all our people better, when we end poverty, keep our children in school, make our neighborhood places where we uplift each other and where we all see ourselves as one Belizean family. It is not an elusive dream.
Reporting for 7 News, Daniel Ortiz.
Next week, the PUP's manifesto will focus on land ownership. And while the PUP waxed on about crippling crime in this COVID year, major crime is down by almost 30%. And at the head, that group is murder, which is down 25% up to the end of September. We discussed this downturn with the commissioner yesterday.
We're at 74 murders as at the end of September, which is significantly down from the same time last year.
My record showing 23.
We are on pace. One hopes to have a year of hopefully 100 homicides or less. What is the feeling like from the department, knowing all the pressures it's under, that it's been one of the hardest years ever, and also that there may be a change of government, and you, at the end of the year, you might not be the commissioner in what, from a major crime perspective, could be the greatest year ever.
Are you giving me notice to the office, Mr. Vasquez?
Things are always changing. You never know.
Yes, it is good to see that the major crimes are really down. And it takes a lot for us to be where we are, considering the different dynamics that is occurring around us. And policing in this pandemic, it is really difficult and stressful. But again, as much as some might want to say that it is not what the police is doing that had led to this drastic decrease, I want to refute that, to say that the efforts of the police officers out there daily is the main contributing factor to the major crimes being done the way it is currently. And yes, the SOE do helps. And again, that is a part of policing strategy. It is gratifying to know that your labor is yielding good fruits. Whenever we have a murder, Jules, it's a life lost, and our family is left mourning, in pain. Children are left without a father, sometimes the breadwinner, and it is really devastating. It tears families apart. And so, whenever we save a life, it is a major achievement for us. If we were down by 1 compared to last year, I would still consider it an achievement, because 1 life saved is a big thing. So the entire enormity of the gang situation is one that we really and truly have taken a grip of, and we want to ensure that we keep it under control.
And while those 74 murders were recorded at the end of September, there have been 3 murders in October already, and 2 of those are gang-related. The killing of George Murphy in Placentia is believed to have led to the murder of Nelisha Nolberto in Belize City a few days later. Yesterday, we asked the commissioner about keeping down this spike in gang activity.
It is not yet where we want it to be. Things are still pretty much volatile in Belize City, and myself and Mr. Rosado spoke this morning when I was in Belize City. And again, we continue to see how we can strategize. We're going to a long weekend. We want to ensure that our people remain safe during this coming weekend. And so, from a law enforcement standpoint, I want to assure the Belizean people, particularly those in Belize City, that we are going to do what needs to be done to ensure that they will be able to enjoy the long weekend as best as they can while adhering to the COVID-19 protocols.
Police have also been told to crack down on politicians campaigning from house to house without wearing masks properly. We showed you pictures we captured yesterday, proudly posted on the Facebook page of PUP Port Loyola candidate Gilroy Usher. A release from the Commissioner of Police today said, quote, "Campaigners can be seen moving across our communities. Unfortunately, some are not wearing their mask, while some wear theirs improperly. The Belize Police Department, therefore, call on all political parties and aspirants to keep in mind the requirements of the quarantine regulation to practice social distancing and wearing of mouth and nose covering when in public. We would also like to request the general public to ensure they wear their mask when interacting with campaigners, making sure they do the same when visiting their homes and or interacting with them in public. Campaigns must be done in small pockets, taking into account interacting with potential voters without exceeding the legal requirement of 10 persons at any given time." End quote. And we take a break now. When we come back, girls, not brides. Belize joins the effort to abolish childhood marriages and early unions. And what is it with Belize and eggs?
Belizeans all, with highest confidence, with surest conviction, I now cede the mantle of the United Democratic Party leadership to the Honorable Patrick Farber, the Lion of Collet, the greatest Minister of Education this country has ever seen, and the new political champion of all the people of Belize. He is a veritable Daniel come to judgment, and with him, the welfare of the UDP and Belize is in the best of hands. I sincerely congratulate him, wish him a long leadership tenure, and thank him for the assurance, comfort, and faith that his demonstrated qualities and phenomenal capacity bring to all of us in this great United Democratic Party. Long live Patrick Farber, long live the UDP, and long live Belize.
The world as we know it has changed. Now, more than ever, local businesses need our support. Whether they're taking online orders, setting appointments, or taking reservations, our business customers depend on us for the best in business solutions, high-quality products, and reliable services to keep them connected to their customers, to keep their doors open. Digi is ready for this change, and we're committed to doing what it takes to ensure that businesses can remain profitable during this time. Digi is here, and you don't have to do this alone. Together, let's embrace the new and unlock all the waiting possibilities.
The official hurricane season for the Atlantic Basin, the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico is from June 1st to November 30th. If you are ordered not to evacuate, there are things you can do to get through the storm in the safest possible manner. Monitor the radio or TV for weather conditions. Stay indoors until the authorities declare the storm over. Even if the weather appears to have calmed, do not go outside. The calm eye of the storm can pass quickly, leaving you outside when strong winds resume. Stay away from all windows and exterior doors. Turn off power when there is standing water or fallen power lines. Prepare to evacuate to a shelter or to a neighbor's home if your home is damaged, or if you're instructed to do so by emergency personnel. Many hurricane-related injuries are cuts caused by flying glass and debris. Other injuries include bone fractures and puncture wounds from exposed nails, metal, or glass. Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company wants you and your family to be safe this hurricane season. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Brought to you by Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company and this station.
The economic hard times caused by COVID are forcing families to make some hard choices. It's often these kinds of economic realities that contribute to instances of child marriage or early unions, merely to make ends meet. Statistics show that 30% of Belizean women found themselves in a marriage or union before the age of 18. That could have meant withdrawal from school, an early pregnancy, and even higher instances of domestic abuse. It's a cultural norm that UNICEF and the National Council for Families and Children are trying to combat. And this morning, I attended, albeit virtually, the launch of a roadmap to end child marriage and early unions in Belize.
Belize took a step toward leading a movement in the Caribbean with this morning's launch of a roadmap to end child marriage and early unions in Belize. And we've had to take the lead because instances of child marriages are higher here than anywhere else in the region. It's a silent, endemic crisis and one that's of particular concern for young girls. It's an issue that, if you look back far enough, is part of all of our stories.
I began to have memories come flooding back of my grandmother. And my grandmother telling me that when she was sitting under the kitchen table in Trinidad at the age of 12 or 14, she could never remember which age it was, as people around her sat at the table to decide to whom she was going to get married. And it was a man much older than she was, who was my grandfather. And as she told me this story, it stayed with me. It was very much a part of my adolescence. But then as I began to work much deeper in the region and started to dig into a lot of the barriers to gender equality for girls, I realized very quickly that the story of my grandmother is not a story of the past. And it's not a story of a woman of her generation, that it's very much a story of girls and women of today.
But it's a reality that has to change because as it stands, victims of child marriage and early unions are at a disadvantage that's often supported by our very laws.
Although we have a lot of legislation and a lot of way forward on addressing a lot of these issues regarding vulnerable population, we still have legal loopholes within our system that exist. And this allows for violations to happen within those loopholes. For example, within the whole idea of unions, young persons can engage in sexual acts with consent from a legal guardian, allowing for transactional and sexual exploitation. So young persons are then pre-exposed to these situations where, because of the vulnerability of being young, they're affected negatively, and it also affects the way that they're developed. Speaking, and I'll just briefly go into this, talking about developmentally, they're also affected developmentally and the stage of maturity and the socialization that occurs within these years. Discussions are distorted when it comes to like spacing of children, youth contraceptives, domestic violence is a huge issue within young unions or forced unions, sexual exploitation, and also house and home responsibilities are accentuated by cultural norms. So these are all like issues that affects us as young persons, and it prevents us from being our true selves and experiencing our true potential.
And often it's not the law, but cultural norms such as religion that can push young people and their families into agreeing to early unions. But that seems to be changing, with Anglican Bishop Philip Wright calling this morning's launch an opportunity to move Belizeans toward their fullest potential. He's vowed to use the church's arm to spread awareness of how damaging child marriage can be.
I would say the church needs to continue to raise its prophetic voice and support initiatives geared toward the growth and development of children and adolescents. And finally, if you remember, that the church on a weekly or even sometimes a daily basis has access to thousands of our citizens. The church becomes a wonderful avenue through which information can be shared and awareness campaigns can gain real momentum.
Cherise Halsell, 7 News.
Child marriage is such a systemic problem that it could affect the achievement of certain sustainable development goals relating to poverty, gender equality, and good health and well-being. In 2011, each Belizean was estimated to consume 141 eggs per person per year. That number has probably only increased since then, and today, on World Egg Day, poultry producers took the time to recognize as one of the most nutritious foods on the planet. This year, it is being celebrated under the Simple Enough team, Eat Your Egg Today and Every Day. This afternoon, the manager of the Belize Poultry Association gave an interview via Zoom to discuss the health benefits of the egg.
World Egg Day was established in 1996 to raise the awareness of the benefit of eggs and their importance to human nutrition. Right? So basically, that's what it is. The reason why is because studies have shown that eggs are very nutritious. Eggs contain at least 6 grams of protein, and they also contain a wide variety of vitamins. It has 14 essential minerals for the body, plus vitamin A, B, D, and E. So it's one of the few foods on the planet that have vitamin D. Normally we get vitamin D from the sun, but if you are, for example, in bed, can't go out, restricted, your movement is restricted, then you would need your vitamin D. You need to get it from a source. You can get it from eggs, other than fish like tuna or from certain fungus that are edible. Right?
So how important is that with all these studies coming out showing that vitamin D has the potential to protect us from COVID-19?
Yes, vitamin D is found basically readily available in eggs, only eggs. Like I said earlier, you might get it from fish, certain fishes like salmon and tuna, and certain other species of available to us in the form of mushrooms, which are fungus. So it's very important, like you said, for the nutrition of the body for healthy use. But not only the vitamin D that is good for to resist certain diseases, but we also have the fact that it's good for brain development. The egg have a mineral known as a nutrient, known as choline. And the choline is very important for brain development in young children and unborn children. Like pregnant mothers should eat a lot of eggs to help with the fetal development of the brain. It's very important. It's a very key component of it.
Today, the Government House, the House of Culture, the Greenwood House, the Yarborough Green Recreational Field, and the Women and Family Department building, all located in the Belize City downtown area, were officially inaugurated. These sites were all renovated under the Belize City House of Culture and Downtown Rejuvenation Project, which began 10 years ago. The project, funded by the Taiwan International Corporation Development Fund, muddled along for many years in administrative limbo, but eventually found its groove, and they tied the bow on it today. Government officials and a Taiwanese ambassador locked out the media and called in the press office to hold a special ceremony today to mark the completion of these cultural assets. Here's what they had to say.
Thank you for inviting me and my colleagues to join this joyful and meaningful handing over ceremony for project investments to the respective ministries in charge for their future use. Contributed by the 6-year-long efforts from a group of hardworking and dedicated professional team members of the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation and their private sector partners, we see the successful completion and now a smooth transition of the Downtown Rejuvenation Project. Congratulations, not only to the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation, but also to residents of the city, Belizean citizens across the country, and all the international visitors who may come and enjoy their new experiences of this long treasured heritage of your beautiful nation.
Almost 10 years ago, the planning for the renovation of the Belize City House and House of Culture was initiated by then ministry responsible for tourism and culture and the National Institute of Culture and History. 10 years later, with the support from Republic of China, Taiwan, and its International Cooperation Development Fund, it gives me great pleasure that our vision and plan for the government house has been realized. But so much more has been accomplished under this program, as not only did we see the full rejuvenation of the building and grounds we currently occupy, but we initiated shift with the development of Belize's first Eco Museum in downtown Belize City. With guidance from a team of experts from Taiwan, this Eco Museum approach started the renovation, construction, and enhancement of various assets within the area, all with significant historical and heritage value.
It is a treasure. I see that as we open the airport, people are now coming and looking for things to do, and this area is a key area. I'm sure the Minister of Tourism agrees with me, for our tourists who come and visit, but it is also a wonderful treasure for Belizeans and residents of this city in particular.
The project has also invested in the St. John's Anglican Cathedral, the Supreme Court, and the Belize Heritage Plaza, which is currently under construction. Notably, the independent media was snubbed for the event and not invited to ask the many relevant questions or examine the work on any of these sites. In other cultural news, Forest Home Village, just outside of Punta Gorda town in the Toledo district, is now officially recognized by the National Institute of Culture and History as a historic community. In commemoration of the special recognition, a sign which highlights the village's historical and cultural heritage was installed near its entrance along the PG San Antonio Road. What's significant is that in 1868, the area was settled by several American ex-Confederates who migrated from the United States at the end of the Civil War in 1856 after their side lost. They purchased property from Young, Toledo and Company. That's how the Toledo settlement emerged. Today, those lands encompass Jacinthoville, Elridgeville, Forest Home, and Cattle Landing. The American ex-Confederates established sugar plantations, and they produced and sold sugar. East Indians were brought into the Toledo settlement to work on the sugar plantations as indentured laborers. Today, Forest Home Village is a predominantly East Indian community. Forest Home is now the third community to receive the designation and signage. They follow San Joaquin Village and Gales Point Manatee, which were recognized as historic communities last year. As we told you last night, the police department is grappling with COVID-19. 60 cops have tested positive and another 40 are under quarantine for possible COVID exposure. And with that come complaints from the rank and file that the senior command is not doing enough to protect its officers on the job. Commissioner Chester Williams bristled at the suggestion yesterday.
In precincts where you have congested areas and offices, that there is no plan of action, there is no protocol to deal with proper social distancing. They say they have to buy their own PPEs and disinfectant to wipe their own station. They see that as a concern.
As a department, we put together a very precise protocol for our officers to follow. And we also provide our officers, every police officer with a shield, a face shield, every police officer with face masks, every police officer got a box of gloves that they can carry to work. And when that is over, we replaced it for them. I cannot sit in every policeman's office and tell them what to do to keep themselves safe. They all have an obligation, just like the wider public, to ensure that they do what they can to keep themselves safe. Sometimes people want everything that they need, the government must buy it for them. Sometimes we have to look after our own personal interests, our personal self. We try our best for our officers, and even the police officers who are infected. We had, for example, San Pedro, when there was that spike in San Pedro. Every police officer who was in quarantine, we fed them 3 meals per day, give them water, buy medication, ensure they got what they needed. We have had 2 police officers hospitalized, and we have paid those police officers' hospital bill. What else can we do? Do I need to take out my heart to give to some of them who just want to sit on the corner and complain? And then people like you, Hippolito, have time to waste to listen to stupidness?
Commissioner Williams was not quite as surly when the press asked him about the police association. A challenge from Corporal Eldon Arzu, who lost the association's most recent election, is currently before the Supreme Court. Now, Commissioner Williams has gotten a high-flying legal eagle to represent him in the Supreme Court lawsuit. And the cop who won the election is no longer leading it because she got a promotion to inspector. He discussed the recent developments yesterday.
What happens with Ms. Usher, since that she's now promoted to inspector and she can't be part of the union, the association, and the reasoning behind hiring a private attorney, Godfrey Smith, his law firm, in help fighting the case?
In terms of Jane Usher, she is no longer a part of the association. The association central board have met and they have selected a new president who is now Sergeant Jermaine Hyde. The new person on the association is Sergeant Gilbert Martinez. He makes the 7th person to replace Ms. Usher. And in terms of Mr. Godfrey Smith representing myself, as a person, as an individual, I have a right to choose whoever attorney I wish to represent me in any legal matter. So I was the one who got Mr. Godfrey Smith to represent me on the matter. So Mr. Smith and the AG ministry are my attorneys.
Okay, but is he being paid by your monies or the monies from the commissioner office? Does your distinction?
I don't think I need to disclose that. He's not being paid for sure by the government of Belize, and that's where I landed.
We also asked Commissioner Williams about an accident on Wednesday at mile 28 on the Hummingbird Highway. It was not a fatal accident, but a truck loaded with lumber flipped multiple times, and the driver was flung out on the highway and left with multiple fractures. We asked the commissioner about a scene of crimes vehicle that happened on the scene but rendered no aid.
Scenes of crime van going in the same direction towards Western Regional pulled up, assessed the scene, and left the men there. I guess expecting that an ambulance would come, but you know that when you're between Dangriga and Belmopan, ambulance won't reach anytime soon. Anyway, a civilian ended up having to take in the injured persons. Should that scenes of crime vehicle stop to render aid?
Scenes of crime vehicle is not police vehicles, and scenes of crime officers are not police officers. They fall under the National Forensic Service. And while I wouldn't say that they were obligated to render aid, but I would think that out of a matter of concern, they could have stopped, called the police, and wait for the police to come before and see what if the police will be needing their services before leaving the area. And again, in terms of transporting persons who are victims of traffic accidents, we have been criticized by the medical professionals that it is not something advisable. They are saying that when it comes to traffic accident, because you cannot see the nature of the injury, it is not good to move these individuals with the proper equipment. And what they normally do, they have a flat board that they put under you and they roll you on it. In the event that you have any broken bones inside, it does not go into different areas and cause further injury or harm.
The most injured victim was transported to the KHMH for treatment. And before we close tonight, we have the latest COVID numbers. A total of 260 samples were processed today, with 54 new cases identified. The breakdown is as follows. Cayo had 2 cases, in Belmopan and San Ignacio. Orange Walk had 6 cases, 2 in town, 1 in Indian Church, 1 in San Jose, 1 in Fireburn, 1 in Guinea Grass. The Belize District had 6, 4 in the city, 1 in Crooked Tree, and 1 in Scotland Half Moon. Stan Creek also had 6, 1 in Dangriga, 1 in Placencia, 4 from Bella Vista, Toledo, but identified in Stan Creek. And tonight's hotspot is Corozal, with 34 cases, 8 in town, 3 in Ranchito, 6 in San Joaquin, 2 each in Calcutta, Concepcion, Pachacan, Caledonia, 1 each in Cristo Rey, Progreso, Paradiso, Shaibe, San Narciso, Libertad, Xonush, 1 from Bella Vista, Toledo, and 1 from Nuevo San Juan. And the latest numbers say KHMH has 10 patients in the COVID-19 area, 3 of them ventilated. The Northern Regional Hospital has 9 patients, and the Corozal Community Hospital has 5 patients. Given the increasing numbers, the number of hospitalized patients is expected to increase. And that's all we have for you on 7 News Tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Cherise Halsell. You can see a stream of the news at 7newsbelize.com and on our Facebook page. Remember to wash your hands, keep a social and physical distance of 6 feet, wear a mask, and stay home as much as possible because the virus doesn't move unless you do. Stay safe and join Indira Craig back here on Tuesday. Good night and have a great Pan American Day weekend.